What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Hawks on the Stove, episode 13. Your host, Grayson Fisher, co-host, the only Big Meech.
What's up?
We
Let's
got
get it.
part two on. Everyone likes Shimmy on so much the first time. We got to bring him back.
Back by popular demand. Good to be
A lot
here.
of good stuff to talk about today. So I don't even want to tiptoe around it. I want to just dive on in. Start off in the college football world. We got Spencer Rattler, quarterback, Oklahoma University, removes University of Oklahoma quarterback from his Instagram bio. Does add it back later in the day once everyone starts freaking out. But it was Spencer Rattler, University of Oklahoma quarterback, and then for like an hour and a half, it was just quarterback. And then I'm assuming Lincoln Riley, the OU boys made him change it. But what do we think about this, man? So Spencer Rattler came in. We talked about him a little bit last pod. He came in really highly recruited. Did not have a bad freshman season last year at all in any means. Was ready for a breakout year this year. And everyone thought Oklahoma was just slow and their offense wasn't moving. They take him out. They put Caleb Williams in, and their offense is back to the electric Oklahoma offense we used to see. So it's more like, was it Oklahoma or Spencer Rattler? And going off this real quick before you guys speak, Caleb Williams this past week, 18 for 23, 295 yards, 12.8 yards per average, 4 touchdowns, along with 0 interceptions, along with 66 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. So is the future of Oklahoma football Caleb Williams, or is Spencer Rattler going to battle it through?
It's a tough one. I like Spencer Rattler, but it doesn't seem like he's going to stay at Oklahoma if he did that. Like, he knew what was going to happen. People were going to notice. You know what I mean? He's not.
Oh, yeah, he did it on purpose, 100%. He knew.
Is he a sophomore?
Sure.
It's a sophomore, you mean?
Yeah.
He might just go. I think he's going to just go into the draft. Why wouldn't you?
Is he 2 years? If he's just a sophomore, he can't. Is he a redshirt sophomore?
He can go into the draft this year. He's draft eligible.
So you think so we're all in agreement. All
So
three.
he is a redshirt sophomore, so
All right,
he is
so-
draft eligible.
All three of us are in agreement though that he's not staying at Oklahoma next season.
No, I think they made a right move by benching him for Caleb Williams. Like this, when you look at their scores before, they were barely winning. I think Oklahoma was one of the most overrated ranked teams in the top 5. But now with Caleb Williams, you could say their ranking is justified because they ran through TCU, but all their games before were very close. Like they won.
They were all one score.
They beat Tulane by 5. They beat Nebraska by 6 or 7. They beat West Virginia by 3. Like Kansas State by 6. So they were scraping by, and then they bench him, and they. So I definitely think they're going to stick with Caleb Williams.
And it really sucks when you're talking about a guy like Rattler who we've known for a while is going to go there, and there's been all this hype about him. Coming in as some people's Heisman favorite entering the season, and then to get beat out by a freshman. And it sucks because you're like, damn, I feel sorry for that kid. But at the same time, Lincoln Riley let him start much longer than most coaches would have.
He gave him a long leash. Well, and they weren't losing either. So he wasn't like losing them the games, but he was kind of, yeah. And it's also tough because he's following Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. Like it's a long line of Heisman winning quarterbacks at Oklahoma. So
Right. You have to live up to that hype, They thought, oh, Spencer Rattler's the next, Baker, Kyler, whatever. And, it is what it is.
I do think I don't know if he's going to go to the draft.
I don't think he can get drafted.
I think he's going to go transfer portal, but I don't think – I would go on as far to say it's pretty damn clear he's not staying at Oklahoma.
I would.
You don't think he would get drafted?
I think he would get drafted, but
He
lot
would.
lower
He
than
would.
he would have going into the season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
of course.
He was a projected top 3 pick,
Yeah.
but now I think he's a day 3 kind of guy.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah. But on the other note, I think what Shimmy said about Caleb Williams and the new offense, I hate Oklahoma. I always hate Oklahoma. I always try to find a reason to say they're not good. They are a completely different offense. Their defense still sucks, but they're a completely different offense than they were with Rattler. They even have more confidence. Like, they're driving down the field. Like, with Rattler, bro, it was like they were just scared and just hoping that he can make, like, a 5-star athletic play, With Caleb Williams, they storm the field. Like, they move the ball now.
No, I think it's safe. Like they're definitely title contenders now with him in there too. Like if they win out, they'll make the playoff, and so
For sure.
especially with Iowa losing.
Where are they ranked now?
They're ranked third.
They're I think they're third, right?
They're
Cincinnati
third.
got up second.
Yeah, they're third.
That's what I thought.
Alabama's 4, I'm pretty sure. Ohio State.
Let me hear. I got the rankings right here. It's Georgia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Bama, Ohio State, and then actually the sleeper team we missed last pod was Michigan. They're undefeated right now.
Though, but they haven't beat anybody.
No, I know, but they're in the Big Ten. If they win out, they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%.
They went out, they'll be there.
You know what's crazy? And I don't want to like jump too far ahead in the pod real quick, but if Wisconsin wins out their schedule, they go to the Big Ten championship.
That's crazy.
They're 2-3,
and they've already lost 2 or 3 games.
They're 2-3.
They've lost 3 games. Yeah.
If they win out their schedule, they go to the Big Ten championship.
Because of their conference.
Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State are all on the other side. They only have to beat Iowa. If they beat Iowa, they go basically.
That is nuts.
It's crazy.
Damn.
It's crazy. But yeah, moving on from that. So we got the Conference USA, possibly losing 16 to the AAC. UAB, UTSA, Rice, North Texas, Charlotte, Florida Atlantic. Pretty sure, Meech, you put this in there, right?
Yeah, I put that in there. What do you think about it?
I think with the merger that happened, what we were talking about last pod, I think these small conferences are going to die, and it's just going to be big conferences and then like Mountain West. I don't think there'll be any more CUSA or Sun Belt. I think those little conferences are going to die out. Like the MAC, I think all those are going to die out. And like they're going to
might die out.
Like all those teams are going to go to bigger leagues, and then more money is going to get funneled in because they're going to be making more money off the mergers and off the SEC build.
No, there's way too many teams for every team to just go into a big conference.
There's not though, dude. You can make one tiny conference instead of 3 or 4.
But then some of these FCS schools might try and become FBS schools, and they might try and move up because every school that leaves a conference opens up a place for another school to come and place it too. Or conferences will end up dissolving, and like the Big East is no more. So.
Yeah,
right.
The Big East dissolved because it went to basketball.
Right.
And then the Big East kind of turned into the American Conference.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, the American is kind of balling out with all their sports too. They're playing well. They're playing against the power, because it's not a Power 5 still. So like these teams are moving from Conference USA to another non-Power 5. It is still a step up.
Yeah, I'd say they're number 6.
Yeah, no, I'd say sometimes they're 5. They're 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think majority of the time there's been seasons where the Pac-12 is like so bad, or the Big 12 is so bad. It's like, that Cincinnati, Memphis, UCF teams could definitely win that conference.
Definitely.
Yeah. The Pac-12 is a good example because they have been struggling.
Yeah, but I think that what do I think about it, Meech? I think it's cool, but I think more on the aspect of my personal opinion. I think it shows us that UCF, Memphis, Houston, and BYU are going to go to the Big 12. I think that's what it's showing.
Yeah, definitely. Didn't they already like write that off? Is that official?
It's been verbally agreed, I believe, but I don't think it's been set in stone like Oklahoma and Texas, as far as my knowledge. I'm pretty sure.
I can't really see it. I feel like unless some financial thing falls through, I can't see it not happening.
Bo, because all it does, those teams are going to suck for the first 3 to 4 years, but they're going to make so much more money, and they're going to get all their sports going to get better.
Well, and this happens all the time. Like Missouri and Texas A&M joined the SEC not too long ago, and so it happens all the time.
But now you're Willie T, right? You're Willie T at FAU. Instead of recruiting a kid and being like, yo, instead of going to an FCS team, you can come play D1 football. Now you're going to a kid and you're going, yo, instead of being a backup at this Power 5 school, come start for us in the AAC right away. If we win out, we play in the New Year's Bowl.
I think it's good for the sport. It's good. Yeah. Parity is good in college sports. You want underdogs. Like that's what sells. What I mean? Like Alabama is great and all that, but it's fun.
That's one thing that makes college football so much more fun to watch than the NFL, in my opinion.
I don't think so. I just can't stand some college football games where there's like Alcorn State at Alabama and they pay them $2 million to just show up.
Don't watch those games then.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of the NFL. I like college football. Don't get me wrong. It's awesome, but
that's a different discussion, though. That's a big
So the next thing we got on here is LSU upset, not having too hot of a season this year. They were 3-3 entering this game, and they upset number 20 UF 49-42. To make it sound a little more crazy, is that LSU had over 20 scholarship players out, and after the game, so during the game, there's been a lot of controversy, for those that don't know, on the UF football roster about their quarterback situation. Because they have Emory Jones, who's been with the team for like 3 to 4 years, and they have a brand new freshman, Anthony Richardson. So they started Emory Jones like they did last year, I believe. And no, like he was supposed to after Trask. Excuse me.
Well, so I can say Emory Jones has been our starter all year. I'm a huge UF fan.
Yeah.
And he's been our starter all year. And every time this dude Anthony Richardson touches the ball, he was scoring 70-yard touchdowns. He was electric. And so the clamor on the UF fans is start this dude AR-15, like he's the future. And then Emory, we lose 2 games in a row or we lost to Kentucky, then we beat Vanderbilt, and then we lost again to.
No, you lost back to back.
Well, to Bama and Kentucky, right? Or no, it was either way. We've lost 3 games now, regardless of the order, so the quarterback plays just under a huge microscope right now, a magnifying glass, I should say.
Yeah. So back on that. So every person, I'm not a UF fan in any sort of way. I'm a 46 Seminole, but everyone I talk to is like, why aren't we starting AR? Why aren't we starting AR? Like everyone, even I'm watching him, and when you start this kid, he goes into the interview after the game and says, quote unquote, like word for word, I can't really speak when asked about his future at UF. He said, I can't really speak on that. I can't really speak on that. Time is the only thing that tells. Right now, I'm a Gator. So it's like he wants to stay. So like a little background on Richardson is like he was born and raised in Gainesville. He was a four-star commit, like high up recruit, and like his dream was to be like Tim Tebow and win a title for the Gators. Like Tim Tebow gave him permission to wear 15 this season. Like that's how big of a deal it is. So I think by him saying this, it's not like I want to go. It's more of like I want to stay, but if you don't play me, Mullen, like I'm okay with going. That's the vibe I get from it at least.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you go with the new thing, like where you don't have to sit out a year? You can just transfer wherever you want. So like free agency, you might as well. So easy.
Well, I don't want him to leave. I think he'll stay. Next year he'll be our starter and he'll win the Heisman. Book it here right now.
Yeah, right.
But I really do think he'll stay though, because he is in line to start next year. Because I mean, he when he's on the field, it's noticeable how good he is, and he does stand out, especially running the football.
So why doesn't Dan Mullen just play him full time?
I think it's a loyalty thing with Emory Jones. Like he recruited Emory Jones, flipped him from Ohio State. He had recruited him when he was still at Mississippi State. I really do think it's just like something about like Emory Jones was named the starter going into the season, and he just wanted to stick with his guy, but it hasn't worked out for sure.
I mean, you got to have the best guy on the field.
I agree. I've been wanting Anthony Richardson to start since week 2. But.
Yeah, so piggybacking off of that, it's like what's going on with Mullen now? Like he started off very hot at UF, doing very well. The team that UF had last season was tremendous. Arguably could have been in the playoffs.
They beat Alabama.
Yeah. So, what do you think about him? You think you think people figured him out? You think he meet his he can't break the expectation? Like what do you think's going on with him?
I think he'll get next year for sure, minimum. And if next year is another 3-loss season like this, like early in the season, then we might be talking about a hot seat. But I do think it's.
But what do you think about, like, do you think he deserves to stay?
What's up?
Do you think he deserves to stay? Like what am I trying to say? Like
I do.
You think he hasn't failed you guys yet?
No, I think it's too early. I don't think you can fire him after this. After 3, like they almost beat Alabama. They almost won that game. They lost on the road at Kentucky. They only put 13 points. And then this loss to LSU was the worst one. I do want to give a shout out to LSU's running back though. He put up like a Derrick Henry stat line against us.
Running back though, put up like a Derrick Henry.
No, Meech, you're echoing.
Oh yeah.
But
no, he had like 200 plus yards and almost like 3 touchdowns. It was crazy.
My bad. Some technical difficulties over here.
So I think the thing is, like I said, I'm in no way a UF fan. I think that Mullen's not that bad. I think that you guys need to remember, like, when you guys got him, that UF was terrible. Like,
we had Jim McElwain.
Yeah, not good at all. Like, UF was horrible. And
Jim McElwain, yeah. He was kind of straight too.
So UF is like a winning culture, like, you know, like Heisman's, high draft picks, winning national titles, SC
That's the
championship.
expectation, yeah.
So the expectation's high, but I think UF fans need to let him finish out the season. Let us see how his next season starts.
Reset.
Because
exactly.
if you really look at it, he is going this way. Like, from what he started with to now, he's not doing bad. It's just, since you guys had such a great year last year, it's like, we need to win it now. You know, it's like,
and it's really our defense, man. Our defense just can't stop a nosebleed this year. It's tough.
The defense was good last year for UF.
it was
it was decent, but really our best defense is, like, we had Will Muschamp was our coach. He just focused all on the defense, but we couldn't score. Like, we were.
The defense was hyped up last year, like going into the year before.
They were decent. Last year there was Pitts, Tony, Trask. They were scoring 30-plus points a game.
Yeah, so going back to the LSU is ending ties with Coach O. They're letting him finish the season, and but he's not being renewed. Like, he's cut off for the rest of the season, like after the season is done.
Like mutual, I think.
Yeah.
Is the way they
So
put it.
his record at LSU is 49-17. And when this first happened, it came out the day after he beat UF. So it was kind of like, all right, what's going on here? Like, he just upset UF with 20 guys out on injury. Like, just won a championship with one of the best teams ever. What's happening? So I started digging into this. So this decision was made like a long time ago, and has nothing to do with his coaching, and has nothing to do with football itself. It has to do with his love life. So when Coach O won the national title, he was married. He's gotten divorced. And for the past, I guess, last season and this season, there's been reports by players, coaches, and students and faculty of the school to see Coach O with various different women, taking them into the buildings, like the football facilities late at night, having them come to practice, watching practice, and to as severe as reported that he would let the girlfriend's children dress up and participate in the LSU practice. And it was getting to the point where players said they no longer wanted to play for him and they no longer respected him.
Damn.
That's great. What's with these football coaches, man?
How crazy is that?
Coach O is bringing a hose into the locker room? Coach O?
Coach O.
Come here, little bitch. I'm going to go. Come here. Go Tigers.
Yeah.
Go Tigers. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. And like, I was reading comments and one person was like, dude, you're a national championship winning coach. You don't need to like go after girls. They'll come to you.
Dude, he's probably got every college girl at LSU just sucking him off in the back after every game. I want you to scream, go Tigers for me, homegirl. Hell yeah.
But you cannot say he's a bad coach. Yeah, I understand last season they weren't as hot as when they won the Natty, and this season they weren't. Last season they lost 31 players in the draft, and then this season they had 25 guys injured.
Well, and that's the thing too is those players he won with weren't his players. He inherited that team and took them.
No.
I don't know. He didn't recruit Joe Burrow. Like, those aren't
the transfer portal though.
No, but he was the interim coach at LSU and then won the national championship the next year. Like, I don't think he didn't.
Coach O was head coach, bro. Coach O's been head coach.
Well, he has not been the coach for that long.
I don't think he was the head coach. Yeah, he was the interim head coach and then took over.
Interim head coach, and
but
then
he might have been the coach
players.
Let me look this up.
No, dude.
We can look up the year he was hired because I know this is only like his third or fourth year there, man.
No, dude. Coach O has been head coach for a little bit because the last coach was Bo Pelini, who ended up getting fired and going to Youngstown State.
I just know.
No, that's Nebraska. Their last
I know.
Last coach was the Les Miles who got fired and went to Kansas, and he just got fired there for sexual misconduct.
But I know
actually, he became the head coach in 2016.
What'd I say?
Yeah.
What'd I say, bro?
Did he really that long?
Yeah, you're right.
Because
but what year did they win the national championship game?
This is why I remember.
2019. So that was his class.
No, yeah, I'm telling you, yes, that was his class. And the reason why I remember this,
His players though.
if you let me explain my mathematical thoughts, is he was a legendary coach at LSU, and Bo Pelini was a legendary coach in Nebraska, and they both got fired at the same time. And then Les
Right.
Miles went to Kansas, and Bo Pelini ended up taking
Yeah.
Youngstown State to be a very good team. And now he works for either like Alabama or LSU. He works for some big program now. I think it's LSU as their OC under Orgeron. But then Orgeron came in. That's what I'm saying. They the year they played like Alabama with Leonard Fournette when they were overhyped, Ed Orgeron was their head coach.
That's been longer than I thought.
Why did Les Miles get fired again? Wasn't there some scandal?
Sexual misconduct. He got fired from
Yeah.
Kansas too because of it. And he's in
Jesus.
some cases, yeah, about like
What is up
having
with
sex
college
with, like,
football? Just
Yeah,
scandal on
It's the
scandal.
coaches,
well,
man.
dude, you're a coach in the NFL. You're surrounded by grown men. You're a coach in college football. You're surrounded by college girls.
Yeah, you know what the thing is? It's just like those coaches, I don't want to say it's like a normal thing for like people and athletes or people that get power like that, but these head coaches are under such a spotlight and such a scrutiny. There's always someone coming after them, so it's always like every little thing, you're not just going through life as a normal, nobody. It's like
Yeah.
the whole university is watching you. You're the highest paid person in most of these states, like Nick Saban in Alabama or at Ole Miss. So it's, I don't know.
No, and it's crazy because they're firing him, and they have to buy him out for $16.8 million by 2025.
He kind of won then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got the hose and he got cashed out. And a national championship.
He doesn't have to work anymore.
What do we
He's
think's going to
getting
happen to
paid.
him? Do you think he's going to get another job? Do you think he'll get hired as a head coach somewhere?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
He's a national
Power Five?
championship head coach.
Somewhere like FAU.
No, he'll go bigger than that, dude.
You
Yeah,
think?
he'll go bigger. He'll go.
He won
Power
a
Five.
national title 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, but he's got to work his way back up from the scandal.
Yeah, but he can bounce back to like a small Power
School.
5 or an AAC or Midwest team, bro. He's not gonna have to go all the way to FAU.
All right.
Because he's been head coaches at other SEC schools before LSU too, so he'll definitely bounce back.
Yeah, so going on to that, so now there's a huge gap who's the next LSU coach. So the top 3 I got right now is Jimbo, Kiffin, and Billy Napier. So Jimbo's quote was about the thing. He said, "I love this place. I have a great contract. I love being at A&M, and I intend to fulfill my entire contract," which is funny because it's very similar stuff that he said about FSU. And Jimbo Fisher currently has the largest buyout in college football history. So to elaborate on that right now, if he would leave the program, Texas A&M, he wouldn't there would be no loss of money at all. He's good. But if they fire him, he would be owed $95.6 million.
Jeez.
So
But if he leaves, he doesn't get that much.
Yeah, so that's why it's crazy because this is where the controversy is coming in on whether or not
wait. If he gets fired at any time, they owe him $95 million.
if it's before December 1st. If not, it's $46.5 million.
It's a buyout for his
Yeah, it's a
contract.
buyout. Yes.
It's a buyout.
Yeah. So it's not like 2 seasons down the road he goes 0-10, and they're like, we can't fire you because we're not trying to pay $100 million.
No, yeah.
That would be insane.
But see, that's why it's kind of crazy right now, because it's like he stays, he gets that money, or he gets a lot of money, right? Or he goes and he doesn't lose money, and then he goes to a program that wins and that has national recognition. The problem about being at an A&M, bro, first of all, it's an agricultural school, okay?
Well, A&M's disgusting, dude. They're in the SEC.
I know, but they've never won a title. You know how hard it is to be the first person to win at a program like that? And on top of that, bro, college town.
Well, listen.
It's not
Yeah,
the
but they've
same
never been as big as they are now. They've never had a good football. Like Johnny Manziel put them on the map, really. Never since then.
If the debate is LSU or A&M, LSU is definitely a big job. It's
Yeah,
definitely a big job.
definitely.
But
In my opinion,
the question isn't I see what you're saying, Shimmy, but the question isn't Texas A&M or LSU. The question is, does Jimbo stay at A&M or does he go to LSU? That's the question.
I mean, that's a tough question. That is a tough
Stay at
one.
A&M and take the
I see
money.
him saying though. I can't
Whose
really
roster?
see.
Dude, I don't know, man.
They were a top 10 team before the season started, and
Bro, he won a national title at Florida State and then dipped 2 years later.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, him leaving Florida State wasn't that that was kind of sudden too.
It was
wasn't
sketchy, bro. It was sketchy.
Yeah.
Stopped all official visits by October, and then dipped in like November. So there was no visits at FSU for any football players until January.
He left him in like a bad shape.
Yeah,
Too.
that's horrible.
That's why they've been struggling a lot too. Yeah.
And there's rumors and an investigation to see that if Texas A&M was putting money in his pocket 2 years prior to get him to work his way over.
Like really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Next is Kiffin, just because Kiffin's known to go to a program and then dip really quick. And LSU is going to pay him better than Ole Miss, and he's going to have a lot more to work with, you know.
We're saying Lane Kiffin to LSU.
Yeah. I think personally the best is Billy Napier. So for everyone that doesn't know him, he played quarterback at Furman in college. He led them to the 2001 FCS championship. They lost to Montana. He has coaching experience at Alabama, Clemson, Arizona State. He's currently the Louisiana Raging Cajun head coach. 33-12 as head coach. They're currently 5-1 with their only loss against Texas, and they entered the season being ranked 18th in the country. And they were 10-1 last year, upsetting number 23 Iowa State with their only loss to Coastal Carolina. So the reason why I think I was reading a bunch of stuff, and I was reading what this one journalist said, and he said, I'm gonna quote him on this. He was saying that Napier's been involved in college football since he was in the high school, where his dad was a coach, and then as a QB at Furman. Several all-state, all-conference honors through college. It's in his blood. He's coached and recruited under Bowden, Swiney, and Saban. He's done wonders at ULL, and he's been recruiting in Louisiana since 2017. There's no controversy or huge buyout involved, and he's relatively young. I think he's good there for all those reasons. I think everyone keeps saying LSU needs to get an old school coach, like a Bobby Bowden kind of guy. But they did that with Les Miles. It didn't work. Ed Orgeron was kind of 50-50. I think they need something different. I think the old school vibe of everything is kind of dying out, and you're starting to see, like, I like older coaches, but they need to adapt better, if that makes sense. We're not in an era of boring old school football anymore. And I think bringing Napier in, he brings an enlightenment to the team, and he's younger. They can relate to them more, and he already has recruiting ties to Louisiana.
I think that's the biggest thing to me that sticks out is, like, if he's a coach in state already, young, like, I mean, I could see it as a dark horse if they don't sign a big name, because that's the thing, at a school like LSU, you know, you're always big fish, big game hunting, but I could see that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Kiffin goes there. He hasn't done shit at Ole Miss. So.
I mean, they are ranked like number 10.
They're pretty good though.
They're good. They're good.
Dude, so the other one is James Franklin. But my thing on the James Franklin deal is, one, he has everything he wants at Penn State.
Yeah.
And they currently, right now, as of today, or maybe yesterday, extremely recently, have the number 1 quarterback and the number 1 running back in this upcoming senior class.
And they're in a hotbed, their area in the country.
Why would they leave? Like, all they have to do, if they beat Iowa this year, they're undefeated going into the Big Ten championship, or they play Ohio State. But yeah,
when their quarterback got hurt in that game.
Yeah.
No, I don't see why he would leave Penn State.
I think Napier is their go-to, man. I really think so. I would not be surprised if Jimbo went there. I really think he's their guy.
That guy checks all the boxes.
Exactly. So the next coaching situation is what's been going on for a while. Is it's going on at USC. So I've been reading a lot about this because, you know, USC is a program that's historically good, but will probably never get to that level again due to how hard it is to get a college support in LA. And everyone's saying that Cincy coach Luke Fickell is going to go there. So reading off of LA Times on this, they say USC and Fickell might not be an obvious match, but USC athletic director Mike Bowen is the man who gave Fickell his job at Cincinnati.
That's a connection.
So my thing is, I think this goes 2 ways. I think if Fickell, I think there's 3 possibilities. 1, he goes there because of that situation. Okay. 2, he stays because Cincinnati wins out their season and make the playoffs. Or 3, he stays because Cincinnati goes to the Big 12 and they're considered a Power 5 program. I think those are the three things that could happen. I don't think anyone outweighs the other.
I could see him leaving. I think the grass might be greener on the other side. The money's definitely going to be better. I mean, Cincinnati, because they're not going to be in the Big 12 for another 2-3 years. It's going to take time for that to actually.
Dude, but if he makes it to the playoffs this year, they're gonna make sure he's got it good. His pockets aren't empty, you know.
Yeah, but who's got more money? USC, Cincinnati,
USC.
Yeah, but if he goes to the Big 12, no, I agree. But if he goes to the Big 12, he'll get Big 12 money.
Yeah.
Pac-12 money and Big 12 money, what's the difference?
USC is
actually it's not, so he can stay where he's at and go get the Big 12 money.
I just think like it comes down to again kind of the similar argument of the last thing is like at the end of the day, which job is bigger? It's undebatably USC.
Yeah, but are you going to go to USC and try to be another coach that most likely will fail because you can't build? Or are you the first ever coach? Or are you the first ever coach to win a natty with Cincinnati?
Well, he could do both. He could win a natty at Cincinnati this year and then leave and go to USC and try and resurrect it. Because
he wins a natty, he is not leaving, bro. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I don't know. What else could he accomplish? Once he wins a national championship, though, what else is there to accomplish there? He's done it all.
Them to the Big 12. Now you make them a program. Now you make them like Alabama, bro.
Yeah, but why would you want to do that? I would just hop to the more established program in USC.
Cincinnati over the last 5 seasons has done a lot.
Your thinking is, I can attract – if I could recruit at Cincinnati, imagine what I could do at USC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His mindset's not, I'm going to go to USC and be the next coach to fail. His mindset, I'm going to go to USC and be the coach to succeed. So
exactly.
Why not?
Yeah.
I can see both sides.
Especially if you win.
Yeah, I see both sides. So going on now, let's just give you a little recap of what happened this weekend. We have number 1, Georgia, manhandling number 11, Kentucky. Close game at half, 14-7. But, dude, they beat them 30-13, excuse me. This UGA defense might be the best college football defense of all time. They're averaging 6 points allowed per game against them.
What's the defensive tackle's name? Jordan
Davis?
Yes, Jordan Davis.
He's like 6'6", 350 pounds.
He is savage, bro.
Dude, the thing is,
I hate Georgia, man. But
Kentucky's very good. They are a very good team this year.
They stayed in that game a little. Like they wouldn't have a chance to win, but I felt like they stayed in there.
They're not a bad no. But usually it's like, oh, Kentucky's good because they played 7 horrible teams in a row. No, like this year they're good. Getting Will Levis from Penn State helped them a lot.
That's another coach. Bob Stoops could get a bigger job somewhere at Kentucky. He could leave.
Yeah,
Jesus, Bob Stoops. That's where he's the head coach at Kentucky?
Yeah. Or Mark Stoops.
Yep.
See, that's what I'm saying. All you need is one good coach to turn your program around. Like, if you could turn around Kentucky, come on.
That's the thing about college football. It's about the coach. The same with college basketball. The coach is like the man.
Yeah, college football, the coach is like so important. I think more so than like any other sport.
Next, we got Purdue dethroning number 2 Iowa, 24-7 at Iowa. Is Iowa overrated? Can we all agree on that?
I mean, in hindsight, right? Like,
damn, they were number 2.
It's tough to say that though, because they did. I mean, yeah, you could look back and say they beat Penn State with Penn State's backup quarterback.
They beat a dog shit Wisconsin team. No, they didn't even play Wisconsin.
But overrated's tough. I think maybe they were reading their own headlines a little bit too much.
I think they are a top 15 team who can play like a top 10 team. I don't think they're a playoff team though.
Definitely not top 5. Top 5 was definitely that.
I could see them finishing at like 8 to 10.
Yeah, one or two losses. They might not lose again for the rest of the season, but
yeah. And then
they had to be overrated. They got all the way up to 2, which is awesome program. But everyone knew they weren't the number 2 team. It's just like who can you put them at with Alabama losing and
which like realistically, like if they played Alabama head to head, we know who would be the favorite.
Yeah. Oh yeah, be a wrap like a packed lunch.
Yeah.
That's why the rankings are kind of whack sometimes.
But the rankings are more about success. That's what the college football playoff rankings are for. Is they base them based on how good they think the teams actually are. But the AP is just about your record and who you beat.
Right.
So if you guys remember Rondale Moore's freshman season at Purdue, they upset number 2 Ohio State by 29 points. They are
Did
a
you
team.
win the championship that year?
No,
Or, oh, is that not like the Zeke year?
Yeah.
Oh, that was way
But
wrong.
that's just to show you, Purdue is a Cinderella team that can do it. You know. We're
Purdue.
Going on next, we got number 12 Oklahoma State beat number 25 Texas 32-24. Texas blew a 17-3 lead. While having that score, they were in Oklahoma State's red zone and then threw a pick six.
Dude, Texas blows a lot of leads, man.
Yeah.
They were winning against Oklahoma. I feel like they've been winning a lot of times. I'll look at the score and they'll be winning and then they'll end up losing.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy because usually also like I remember reading, I can't give you an exact where I remember seeing it, but someone was saying like usually the loser of Texas Oklahoma, like whoever loses that game, their week after they like destroy the team. Like
Really?
that's like a trend. So like
That's
why
rough.
yeah, so everyone thought like Texas was gonna body Oklahoma State, and that didn't happen at all.
Wow. Well, Oklahoma State's undefeated too. That's another.
So that's where I wanted to go with this. Oklahoma State is 6-0. Are we considering them legit, or are we looking at them as like an Iowa?
I honestly haven't even watched any of their games, but if they're undefeated in the Big 12, I'm definitely gonna have to tune in this week.
The one thing I'll say about them is their offense is nowhere near like Oklahoma's or like even like Texas, honestly. But they have for a Big 12 team, they have a very disciplined defense, which is what I think is making them have so much success.
And that's a big deal in the Big 12 because they don't play a lot of defense.
Yeah, I think the last good defense I remember was Baker when they went to the playoffs.
For the Oklahoma.
And
I'm looking at Oklahoma State's record right now, like at their schedule. See, they did have a lot of close. They only beat Boise State by 1. They beat.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's their offense isn't electric, but their defense is very disciplined.
Right. And then they beat Kansas State when they were ranked. They beat Baylor when they were ranked. Texas. So they're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got some legit wins.
Yeah.
This week they play Iowa State, who was ranked in the top 10 for a period of time.
And who is a team that, regardless of their stature, they are a team you have to prepare for.
It was a tough out.
Matt Campbell's got a good program there at Iowa State. He's got to get some kinks out.
Yeah, at Iowa State, that's a real test. So.
Yeah.
And then the game at the end of the year, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I hope they're both.
That's going to be awesome. If they both win out, that is going to be.
Yeah, awesome. I hope because the winner will win the Pac-12 too.
Big 12. No. The winner was if they both are undefeated, they will just play again in the Big 12 championship.
Oh, do they have a Big 12 championship game?
Yeah,
now?
but it's not divisions. It's just the top 2 teams.
Okay, you're right, and they play. Yeah, that's what it is. They don't have divisions in the Big 12.
So we could potentially get Oklahoma State 2 times.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be kind of sick.
Especially if they're undefeated the first time.
I know Texas was favored. Or Oklahoma was definitely favored to win the Big 12, but. Yeah. Texas was like definitely up there number 2.
Yeah, but dude, that's Texas every freaking season.
So like Oklahoma State kind of came out of nowhere. No one expected them to be good.
So the next game we got number 13 Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin coming back to the old stomping grounds of Tennessee. They beat him 31-26. But what's crazy is not the game itself; it's what happened at the end of the game in the fourth quarter. The game got delayed for about 40 minutes because Tennessee fans were throwing stuff out of their seats and hitting players and cheerleaders and coaches. Lane Kiffin got hit by a golf ball, like mustard thrown, like crazy stuff.
That's bad.
And what's crazy on top of that too is this was like the first time, I don't know the name of the Tennessee stadium, but it's the first time in like 4 years they sold out. And that's what they do, bro. Like that's such a bad look for
they sold out because they were rooting for Lane Kiffin to lose, probably.
Yeah, exactly. But it's such a bad look, dude. And like they got fined $250,000 by, I don't know if it was the SEC or the NCAA. They got fined $250,000.
They both should fine them.
Yeah, and it was funny too because then after the delay, they get back to the game, and Tennessee gets the ball down to Ole Miss's 21-yard line, and the quarterback runs out of bounds with timeout instead of throwing a touchdown. Just runs out of bounds. Literally runs, gets the first down, and steps out of bounds with no time left.
Going back to that, though, Tennessee fans are kind of known for being rambunctious and obnoxious, and they suck.
Yeah.
Like, everyone just shits on Tennessee for some reason, everyone in the SEC. So
yeah, bro, and they were supposed to get Shiano as their head coach, pen on paper and everything, and then they had to exploit his contract. because Tennessee fans are like, we want an alumni to be our head coach. It's the only person. We're like, what?
That's rough being a Tennessee fan. You get your ass whooped all the time. They suck.
And then you get a coach that you wanted, and then your guys are like, oh no, you didn't graduate it. We can't have. We can't have. Like what?
I think legitimately the last time they were good was when they had Peyton Manning.
Yeah, it's so stupid, bro. So stupid. So going back,
Yeah, I see this. Ole Miss to host Eli Manning Day versus LSU, hitting his name in the end zone. Did you know Archie Manning's also coming to that game?
that's
on
the line right underneath that. It says 5-star Archie Manning is visiting the same weekend. It's this coincidence.
Ah, yeah. That's kind of fucking awesome. That's a great
I
idea.
think his visits were Tennessee, and I'm not entirely correct, so please check me on this. I believe they were Tennessee, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, and there was another one. Can't remember the fifth. Maybe Oklahoma.
Probably
Which son
Alabama.
is this? Which one of the Manning sons?
Arch Manning. It's the brother that didn't play in the NFL's son.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's
Cooper?
a 5-star
Is his
quarterback.
name
He's a
like that?
junior. He's a junior. He's a 5-star quarterback.
Wow. So the son that didn't make it to the NFL, his son.
Yeah. So
You know, they said he was better, the oldest brother that never played. They said he was better than Eli and Peyton, but he like messed up his spine or something.
Yeah, he has like neck problems.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, but it's funny. It's like so. I feel like they're like trying a little too hard to suck this kid's dick, dude. Like,
Well, your last name's Manning.
His official visit. It just so happens to be his uncle's Eli Manning Day at Ole Miss, and his name will be in the end zone. Like that's so stupid. I've never heard of that. Never heard
It's
of that.
definitely Lane Kiffin's
Good
idea.
recruiting.
No, 100% was Lane Kiffin's idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so Lane Kiffin.
It's so stupid though. Like, it's blatant and obvious. You know, it's not like it's subtle at all. Like everyone realizes that's why they're doing it.
Isn't he a junior too? I don't even think he's a senior yet.
Yeah, he's a junior.
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
bro, but that kid's gonna commit before senior season starts. Are you kidding me? He's the highest recruited kid in the country.
He's number one?
Yeah, he's a 5-star quarterback.
Dude, they got some crazy genes in the Manning family. They're just quarterback prototypes.
So, finishing up with college football, we got college football playoff rankings released in 2 Tuesdays, November 2nd. And I'm going to read off the list of remaining undefeated teams. We got number 24, UTSA. Number 22, San Diego State University, Number 21, SMU. 16, Wake Forest. 14, Coastal Carolina. 9, Michigan State. 8, Oklahoma State. 6, Michigan. 3, Oklahoma. 2, Cincy. And number 1, UGA. So going into the NFL now. Washington Redskins retire Sean Taylor's jersey, number 21. I think this was kind of – I'm just going to be completely straight up. This was a stunt to draw the attention off of the investigation, 100%. The timing of it and everything.
I don't think so.
I think so, 100%.
This had to be planned like months in advance. There's no way they just were like, let's just retire his number like last week.
Yeah, because that's not going to bring any media attention off of the scandal.
Yeah,
That's the worst
this is about Sean Taylor.
What? It's going to be like, look how good the program is. Like, oh, they're remembering a hero. Now
Dude,
instead of looking at the captions like,
football
oh,
team, that program's a
now
joke.
instead of looking like, oh, their owner is a scumbag and
Listen.
now it's like, oh my God, look what they're doing. Like, he's such a good guy.
No, anybody with sense, this shouldn't blind you from the fact that they're still a dirty organization. They still have problems. And it's our owner, Dan Schneider. He's the problem. It's the culture he has and everything. But I think this was about Sean Taylor and how great he was, remembering him. I mean, listen, I'm a huge Washington fan. I'm biased. I love Sean Taylor. But I want to believe this was about remembering him and honoring him and how great of a player he actually was.
Yeah, and great.
Because there's no way they did this like on a whim. They had to know they were going to retire his number. I'm honestly surprised they didn't do it sooner. We need to trade Landon Collins. That's a side note.
Yeah, I would hope they would not disrespect him like that. It's like, I hope that wasn't their thinking. But
I also
but you know, Dan Schneider, if anyone would do it, it would be him to do something sleazy like that.
I also hope they did it out of the real reason, but I'm telling you, I think that they did it for attention.
I hope not. I want to believe it was to honor how great Sean Taylor actually was. And you know, when you look back at the history of our franchise too, like that was the turning point where like we really have not been this. Well, honestly, the turning point was when Schneider bought the team.
You saw that, obviously, that video of Sean Taylor hitting the punter in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes. Yo, yeah, that's the coolest
I think that's the best hit of all time.
in a Pro Bowl on a punter.
It's hilarious.
Punter.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
he went flying like 10 yards.
He only knew one speed, man. He only knew one speed.
So, moving on from that, Jags get their first win of the season over the Dolphins, 23-20. I did not get to catch any of this game, so if y'all want to say what happened.
I woke up.
I watched the game.
It was good. It was a good win. Honestly, Trevor Lawrence looked. I mean, I think more to the takeaway from that game is more like the Dolphins have a long way to go. Less so about the Jaguars, more about the Dolphins because they kind of lost the game more than Jacksonville won it. But Jacksonville they've been close a couple times. They're definitely gonna win like 2, 3, 4 games.
Yeah. But the Dolphins, man.
Dude, they're rough, right?
As much as I hate them, I feel bad. I really do. They had some expectations this year. 2 a time. I knew the one-hit wonder was trash from the jump, but he threw like 90 touchdowns and like 6 interceptions at Alabama. And
yeah, but you passed up Justin Herbert for him.
Yeah, that's bad too.
Yeah, but no, you can't looking back, no one was taking Justin Herbert over Tua. Come on.
Hey, we took Chase Young over Tua too. I mean, over Herbert and over Tua.
But yeah, so that was cool to see for Trevor Lawrence. Fuck Urban Meyer though. And then next I got Vikings defeat the Panthers 34-28. So listen to this. This is crazy. Sam Darnold, since starting off 3-0, since then he has 55% completion rates, 52.94, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, with a 48.9 QBR, which is ranked 33rd out of 34 QBs.
Showing his true colors.
He's going right back to his old self.
Oh, yeah. I knew that was coming, but I've seen him play way too many games.
Yeah,
you think it's defenses figuring like what the Panthers are doing out? Because they had success first few games.
Well, okay, let's
a weak schedule or
right off bat, losing Christian McCaffrey definitely hurt him. Like that's obvious. That's obvious.
Oh, yeah.
But also, this also proves that like it wasn't the Jets; it was just him. Like it wasn't like the Jets were ruining it. He just wasn't good.
Yeah, it was definitely a combination of Adam Gase and Darnold. But
Adam Gase.
All the Jets fans knew he was trash, so it's not surprising. He throws some balls and you're just like, what in the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I know, seriously, dude. But it was funny because I remember when he got traded, there was a video on TikTok or like Instagram of him coming home and they were like celebrating with Panther stuff, like we're getting out of the show.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man. And I will say too about that game, the Vikings have been involved in some of the craziest games of the years so far.
Yeah.
Like like the last minute field goal they made against the Lions. I had them in I think I said that last time, but they've been in some crazy games down to the wire. So the Vikings are
next. I got Ravens shutting down the Chargers 34-6. The only thing I got to say about this is I really hope the Ravens keep this going because they've been doing this the past 2 seasons and then just not showing up in the postseason. I really like Lamar. I really like the team. I like Harbaugh. I would like to see them do what they're capable of doing this year. It'd be nice to not get, chubbed up and then, nothing happened.
Chubbed up. Yeah, I mean, Lamar owns the regular season. He's just all he's got to prove is the postseason. That's all I got to say about that. Justin Herbert hasn't been playing well the past 2 games, so
the past 2 games. It was just the last game.
Yeah, no, it was the last game, but I think
before that he balled out. He had like 5 touchdowns.
But he has had a few bad games though this year, Justin Herbert.
He hasn't had bad games. He's had not amazing games.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, then
the last game was a bad game though. Against the Ravens, I think the cross-country trip hurt the Chargers in general. The whole team didn't really show up, and they got down early too, so it was rough. The Ravens, though, I will say, they're fun to watch, man. The Ravens are a lot of fun. I don't know if that run style is going to work when it comes down against another great quarterback. When it's Lamar versus another top 10, top 5 quarterback in the league, is it going to work down the stretch? I'd love to see it work. I'm rooting for him.
Next, we got the Cardinals beat the Browns 37-14. Cardinals are now 6-0. First time since 1974. Can we all come to a consensus and agree as of right now, they are the best team in the NFL?
I think so.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Who's better?
Like, power rankings, they're definitely, yeah. You got to. No one wants to play them.
Dude, they're so good. Like, they're literally so good. And they just got
Their defense,
they just
J.J.
got
Watt.
they just got Zach Ertz too.
Yeah, they just did. He hasn't
I
even played.
still can't believe they got DeAndre Hopkins for nothing.
And J.J. Watt for nothing. That's why it's crazy to me, bro. Because it's like, you know what it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of the Chiefs. Like, they just quickly put together a super team, and they're trying to lead it. You know what I mean? That's
I just got a fact too. The Cardinals haven't had a 100-yard receiving game from a tight end since like the 70s. So maybe Zach Ertz will be the one.
What about Travis Kelce? Oh no, I'm so stupid.
Okay, yeah, no, but honestly though, the Cardinals, it's tough now. Like DeAndre Hopkins isn't really balling like the number. They have so many mouths to feed there, man. They are a dynamic offense.
Yeah, but dude, if you're a defensive coordinator, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, and their defense is really good.
And their defense is very good.
Well, they have the best Jones brother, other than John. They got Chandler, and they got J.J. Watt, who might have been one of the best pickups of the offseason.
Yeah, for not a lot of money.
For basically free, right? The Texans just released them, and
it was like $6 million they signed them for.
So it's crazy, man.
They're gonna obviously have to work something in negotiation and like get them full time. But it's J.J. Watt.
I can't wait for the Cardinals and the Rams second game this year, though. That's gonna be
yeah. I'd like to see how Sean McVay adapts to what happened.
Yeah, I'm wondering who's gonna be the first team to beat the Cardinals, though, too. It's gonna be tough.
Someone's gonna do it.
No, yeah,
they got the Cowboys defeat the Pats 35-29 in overtime, nail biter. Oh, the 5-1 Cowboys legit this year, Ethan.
Sadly, I mean, all right. So legit in terms of like making the playoffs. 100%.
Well, I think that's guaranteed. I mean, like, do they have a serious?
So bad.
Do they have a serious possibility to make it?
But the Super Bowl, their defense is not good enough. I just don't like. They're not gonna. They won in overtime against the Patriots at home, and the Patriots, on the up and up. But they're a young team with a rookie quarterback. Like I feel that's a game that the Cowboys should have won by more at home.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Super Bowl aspirations. But the game against the Buccaneers, week 1, shows you they can score with anybody. So it is tough.
I agree.
But I don't want them to be legit, but I do think I think they kind of are.
All I gotta say to that is fuck CD Lamb, because since they went to overtime, he got 12 more points, and I lost in fantasy by 1 point because of him. Should have won, but
he scored like a 50-yard touchdown to win the game.
Yeah, I know. Next we got Pittsburgh defeats the Seahawks 23-20 in overtime. And we got a little Twitter fingers going on between DK Metcalf and Shannon Sharp. DK Metcalf fumbles the ball trying to get more yards going out of bounds. And then we got a little I'll read you these tweets, Ethan. I don't know if you've seen them so far.
No, go ahead.
A little Twitter beef between Shannon Sharp and DK Metcalf.
Damn, wait, really?
Yeah, so pulling it up. Sorry, it's
No, you're good. I have the link here too. What he said, what was DK thinking?
Yeah, trying to be the hero in that situation. Yeah. Then DK replied, it's not loading for me. Basically, Shannon Sharp called out DK. What was he thinking? He should have just gotten the first down. Nothing crazy. And then DK's I'm gonna do me without listening to you, blah blah. And then Shannon Sharp was like, you wish that one day you'd be as good as me, kid. Blah blah blah.
Why would Shannon say that though? I feel like Shannon went for his neck for no reason. I feel like Shannon kind of well, at the first though, what was DK thinking? Why you try to play hero? And that's straight. That's fine, right? That's his opinion. Probably right too.
Yeah, but I mean,
to then respond and be like, "You'll never be as good as me."
Yeah, but DK said
I don't know why.
That's kind of what he was trying to say. It was DK, you've been in the league 3-4 years. I'm in the Hall of Fame. I feel that's basically what he said.
But what he wrote on Twitter wasn't technically I think DK's in the wrong.
You think DK's in the
Bro,
wrong?
Shannon Sharp is an analyst. That's his job. Okay.
That's true.
All he
He's
said
like,
was, "Come on, DK. Like you should have run out of bounds there for the team. Like you shouldn't have gone the extra yards." And he's not wrong. Like that's what DK should have done.
oh yeah, exactly. So DK fired back, and then Shannon just.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like everyone knows Shannon Sharp was right. He didn't have to like go for DK's neck.
Yeah, but DK's a grown man, bro. He shouldn't have. Like it was so stupid.
He also fucked up on that play, so.
Yeah, it's petty as fuck.
Last thing we got for NFL, we got the Titans defeating the Bills 34-31. Bills go for first down instead of field goal in overtime. Derrick Henry, dude, this man's stats through 6 weeks: 162 attempts, 783 yards with 10 touchdowns. All those stats lead the NFL.
Yeah, he's leading the league in rushing by like 200 yards. Are you kidding me?
It's just insane that he's that big and can move that fast.
And that he's been doing this for 3 years now in a row. Like, who can carry the ball 30 times a game and not get hurt like this man does? Knock on wood, because God,
Dude, he's not a human.
You can't
He's
hurt
not
him.
a human.
Yeah,
He's built like a horse. Like I saw him in real life again on the when they played the Jets, and like you could pick him out of everyone. You know what I mean? His body type, his physique, it's just not human. It's insane.
He's a defensive end playing running back.
Yeah,
runs a four.
but that can run like a running back.
Yeah.
Dude, he's shifty, he's powerful. It's nuts.
Hey, and so that brings up the debate. How close do you guys think he is for MVP? Because it's tough over, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray.
You got him, Tyler, Herbert, Lamar. I'll say those are mine.
Lamar too. What Brady, Kyler,
No,
Josh Allen.
No, not Brady. It's not Brady.
Not Brady.
No.
Dude, when you look at his fantasy numbers, that dude's putting up like 25 to 30.
I know order. It's Tyler, Herbert, Josh Allen,
Herbert,
Derrick Henry,
Not Herbert.
Lamar.
not Herbert,
I
not
think
Herbert.
Herbert's second.
I said in no order.
I think Brady's top 5 for sure.
I just did those 5 names. Herbert is in contention. There's no way he's not.
Outside contention, I think it is early to say. It is early to say. We're not even halfway through the season, but if Derrick Henry keeps this up, how can you not give it to him?
So we're gonna talk about some of our MMA going on now. Moving on. So we got Paulo Costa, currently as of today, weighs 211 pounds. Supposed to be fighting Saturday in the UFC Fight Night main event against Martin Vettori at 185 pounds. As of about an hour ago, the two agreed to change the fight to a catchweight 195.
Oh, they did.
It happened about an hour ago, yeah. But will he make 95? I don't know. I really don't know. It's a big fight. Both these guys are coming off losses to Israel Adesanya, who's the champion. It's number 3 Costa versus number 5 Vettori. Personally, as a Grayson Fisher fan, as a fan of the sport, I hate both of them. I think they're both drama queens, and I don't think they're that good.
They're both cringe, man.
Yeah, they're cringy as hell.
Yeah.
And by what I mean by they're not that good, listen, both these guys listen, both these guys are destroyed.
World class. Yes.
I'm saying they're not caliber contention, in my opinion.
They cannot beat
Championship caliber contention, yeah.
They can't beat Izzy.
Yeah. So my thing is the two things I want to discuss on this topic is, one, should Costa go up to 205?
I mean, I was saying this earlier to Zach. I was just saying, if what he has now, so his last loss was in the championship fight. So
Yeah.
he has a couple more fights, But
listen, going into that fight, sorry to interrupt you, just to help you out. He was 13-0 with 12 knockouts going into that fight.
And see that exactly. So I think he's got more time at 185. If he loses a couple fights, he could always move up and have a fresh start. You know what I mean? Like, I think he holds that because he's definitely, dude. That dude can't make 185 for the rest. Like, he can't even make it this Saturday. So
yeah.
He's not. He's gonna move up. I think he's gonna shoot for Izzy one more time.
I
think he definitely wants that fight.
I don't think that it's that he can't make it. I'm not saying it's not hard. It's probably hard. He's a big bitch. I think he's very undisciplined. I think that's what it is. I think his camp, they didn't even even try to make 85. I think they were like, fuck it, I'm in the main event. They're gonna let me fight. I think that's what happened.
And so if he's 211 now, could he theoretically, like as the fighter, could you think he could make 185 by Saturday if he just put his body through hell?
85?
Yeah. I mean, I know it'd be fucking hard because it's almost 30 pounds. Almost 30. It's like 26
pounds in 2 days.
3 or 2.5 days or
So-
it's Wednesday already. Yeah.
Could he do it? Yes. But I personally, he'd have to be like full fat ass right now. Like he'd have to
Right.
be like he'd have to be 211 like max right now. Like not 211, I'm in shape.
Right. And it's also like, what would he lose by making?
Also, probably wouldn't be able to fight if he made it.
Right.
He'd be
Because it's
so
just
done.
himself too much.
And I'm pretty sure the UFC, not you saw it, like the UFC's like they're like doctors wouldn't like they wouldn't let him cut that much because they're
Yeah.
checking your blood, they're checking your water, they're checking you everything you do. They're not gonna let you cut that much weight that quickly.
Are you surprised they gave him the catch weight instead of just being like, nah, you're gonna miss weight and lose
Dude,
money?
they're gonna take that fight off. No, I don't even know the other fights.
Yeah, that's probably why they did it, right? And he
Yeah.
also, the headline was Costa has no intention. It's like he didn't even try.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of weird. It's like
I know.
he lost to Izzy, and instead of him being like like Rob, who's like I'm gonna fight everyone now because I want it bad, he was just like making excuses like I don't even want to fight anyone because I should have the belt. Like I should have the belt. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's
No,
weird. It is weird.
It's really weird.
But it's like, it's kind of, I feel like he has the same manager as Cejudo. I feel like it's kind of just their strategy. Like,
No. Vittori is the same manager as Cejudo, I'm pretty sure.
no, I know Costa be training with Cejudo. I know that.
I thought Vittori has Ali.
The dude with the glasses. That dude with the glasses. Vittori trains at King's MMA.
Yeah, but I thought his manager was Ali.
Oh, his man. Okay, I'm talking about his coach, not manager. No.
Oh yeah.
Coach. The
Yeah.
guy with the glasses for Cejudo is the same.
Yeah.
coach.
With Pitbull as well. Pitbull.
Yes. He's a coach of a lot of Spanish speaking. I forget his
Like
name.
he's in California.
I think or Arizona somewhere. Yeah.
So the other thing I want to talk about on this subject is, do you think there should be more of a severe punishment? Because what? Say he misses weight, it's 10%.
I think it depends on how much you miss weight by. It goes up with like every pound, but
Dude,
I mean,
I think if you're in his situation, you're in a UFC main event fight, top 5 fight, I think it should be 50% minimum.
I was thinking
1
50
pound.
too.
For
Yeah.
1 pound. Dude,
I mean, listen, like the way I've heard it explained by smart people with years and years and years of experience in the game is they say you sign a contract to fight at a certain weight. If you miss the weight, you're in breach of your contract. Like, should be as high a penalty as it could be, really.
and my thing is, like, I'm in no way whatsoever when I'm saying this supporting weight cutting. I think weight cutting is horrible. I've had horrible weight cuts. My last fight, horrible weight cut. Weight cutting sucks. It's not fun at all. But at the same time, if you're in the UFC and you're the number 3 fighter in the world, you should be making fucking weight.
Yeah.
That should be an afterthought. Like my old wrestling coach used to say all the time, he's like, you get your weight, you eat. Like when we were in high school, he's like, you guys, we train like professionals. You hold yourself to a professional stature. Okay. If you make sure your weight is in check, that's a given. That's a given. There should never be, oh, is Grayson going to make weight? Oh, is Grayson weight? No, it's a given you make weight. That's a given. And when you are getting paid the money Paulo Costa is getting paid and the caliber of fighter he is, it should be a given that weight is made.
Like when we're looking at because title fights, they have to make weight for it to be official.
Yeah.
And so most title fights, you're just like, okay, yeah, these 2 guys are going to make weight. You already know that. But then to like look at it is jarring to see a main event fighter miss weight because you don't expect that.
If the UFC called me and gave me a freaking prelim to the prelim fight, I would be in the most disciplined diet of my entire life. I couldn't, let alone a UFC main event. Like what?
And it must be something where he just feels too comfortable. He's like, oh, I am the main event.
Well, that's what I think it is. It is.
Yeah.
And he knows Vittori hate is like, oh no. So like it's fucking stupid, dude. It's dumb.
I kind of hope he loses now, honestly.
Yeah. So I'm not watching it. But moving on is the craziest thing that I think we're gonna talk about tonight. Conor McGregor randomly attacks Italian DJ in Rome, reportedly breaks his nose. DJ Francesco Faccinetti. So the McGregor family was at the Vatican baptizing their son. A few hours later, McGregor's partying in Italy and in Rome at a club. So the thing is there's not like any video of it, and there's no like actual proof. And McGregor has not came out and discussed it.
He hasn't said anything.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything. But the DJ and his wife said that there was 10 people that witnessed it, and that they were completely cool the whole night, hanging out, drinking, talking about.
With Connor?
Yeah, and McGregor was talking about bringing him to another club, like right before he punched him. Then he like walked away, came back, and like no context just stuck. So I don't really know. It's relatively new, recent. It's like a couple days old.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll unveil more. The dude did get stuck. That happened. Like his face was busted. His nose was busted and he was bloody. Like that is a given. He did get punched in the face. Was it by Conor McGregor though? I don't know.
It's tough.
I'm not saying Conor wouldn't do it because Conor's done it before. So.
Exactly, and that's kind of, his silence almost is like, I feel like he kind of did do it.
Yeah, but at the same time, and I'm not defending Conor in any way, and I'm not defending this guy in any way. I'm trying to be completely neutral. I would never have heard of this DJ in my entire life if this didn't happen.
That's true too. A lot of people, yeah,
You know?
it could be a fame ploy too.
Now I'm not saying it is, and it could be Conor. Conor's done it. I'm just saying if we're gonna play the 50-50 line, there's a side to both. You know.
But the question here though is like, what's going on with Conor? Like, I think he's just going stir crazy. I really think he's just like sitting in a wheelchair. I mean, maybe he's on crutches by now, but I think he's got to be thinking about that last 2 losses still. Like, I know, because like someone like competitive as him definitely just can't let that go.
No, and that's the thing too. Is like I hate just like talking about Conor McGregor so much because that's what every mainstream person does. But like I follow Conor way before all the fame. Right. You know,
Cage Warriors.
Yeah. I put my time into my fandom in the UFC. Okay. The thing is with McGregor is like I hate when people are like, why doesn't he just retire? He has all this money. Like Conor's reached
who he is.
It's not about money anymore.
Yeah, he's a fighter.
He's a fighter, born and raised. Like yes, he loves his money and he loves everything it's brought him. But Conor's coming to a realization. 2 things. One, he's coming to a realization that his time is coming out. He's got. If he ever wants to touch gold again, it's right now or he's done.
Yeah.
And
I think that's also what it is too. He's just
and the other thing is too, Ethan, is when you're the best in the fucking world at something, and then you're not for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, you kind of want to be the best in the world again, especially when you're as competitive as Conor. You know, so he definitely misses, and it's not about the money. The dude's got the money. It's about legacy. It's about touching.
It hasn't been about the money since Floyd.
Yeah.
It hasn't. Like since that fight, he hasn't needed money a day in his life. Like he's good, man. He's good.
It's about him wanting to touch gold again before he dies. That's what it's about. And I don't blame him at all. I don't blame him at all. At all. Yeah. But will he do it? No, he'll never. He'll never. Unless the UFC curves the path for him somehow, pure skills wise, will never touch the belt.
The only
title shot.
I feel like the only possible way is like Poirier wins the belt and then somehow just gifts him a fight out of the blue.
No, I think the only way is Poirier. I think the only way is Poirier fights Oliveira. Oliveira retires. Poirier fights Gaethje. One of them retire, and then he fights the loser.
You've got people retiring.
Dude, he's not beating. I don't think he beats Michael Chandler. I don't think he beats Gaethje.
I don't think he doesn't beat Hooker or Dariush at this point. Like, it's hard to say he beats anybody in the top.
He hasn't proven to me shit this year.
And his last win was against 37-year-old Cerrone. It's tough.
He's 1-3.
He's
1-3.
To this day, he's only won 1 fight at lightweight ever.
He's 1-2.
He's won 2 fights at lightweight ever. One in Cage Warriors and one in no, because he won the UFC the Cage Warriors.
In the UFC, he is 1-3 in the lightweight division.
Yeah, he's only won 1 UFC lightweight fight. It's crazy, man.
Crazy. So next we got, this is another controversial thing, is the UFC cut fighter Luis Pena. He had charges of battery and domestic violence. He also failed his drug tests a couple times. But he's a very entertaining fighter. He's got a good following. A lot of guys like him. I personally enjoyed watching him fight a lot. Gunther and Zach actually served him the other day at Jay Alexander's.
That's crazy.
And I'm not
he was with his girlfriend. They said he looked like it's crazy, man.
Yeah. So it's not what he should. What he did is fucked up. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, how come this guy gets cut and Conor and John are completely fine, completely okay?
The money and the face, dude. it shouldn't be that way, but it is.
But the UFC statement was like, we know John has a better control over it and is going to fix it, rather Pena's more out of control. You can't say that at all.
Yeah,
You can't say that at all.
I did hear Dana said something. He's like, if you read the police report, this is a bad one. I'm like, they're not all bad. Like,
Dude,
what do you
yeah.
like?
What? You cannot say that. You might as
But
well
at
just
the
say
end of the day,
John. You might as well just say John's a superstar and we don't want to lose him. Connor's a superstar, we don't want to lose him. We can
that's what
lose
it
him.
is.
That's what it is.
That's what you got to read between the lines, you know.
That's like when the NCAA was like, "Oh, it's not about money; it's about COVID health safety." No, it's about
Right.
money.
Right.
So
They
at the end of
can't-
the day, it all comes down to money.
And that's what this is too. And this is just because having Luis Pena on their roster was more damage for their brand than good at this point. And John Jones and Connor still benefit them to have this thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Next is
It's not right, but
Bellator just announced the new bantamweight title fight. We got Sergio Pettis, Anthony Pettis' little brother. Kid's a G, man. I enjoy watching him fight. He took the belt out of Juan Archuleta, who's a Bellator veteran. Fights Kyogi Horiguchi. For those who don't know who Horiguchi is, he's a mixed martial arts legend. He was the Rise champion for bantamweight. And Bellator did like a cross-promotional fights with Rise a couple years ago, where it was like Bellator sent like 6 guys to fight in the Rise card, and then Rise sent like 6 guys to fight in the Bellator card. And Horiguchi fought the current bantamweight champion at the time, Darian Caldwell, and he beat him in both fights.
wow.
But he didn't sign to Bellator yet. Just signed to Bellator, I want to say within the past month and a half, 2 months. And this is the fight they give him. This is going to be an awesome, electric, 5-round, high pace, high cardio, high levels technique fight, in my opinion. MMA fight. Like, you're going to see takedowns, elbows, grappling, cage work. You're going to see an MMA fight with these 2 guys.
You know, Pettis' last fight was against Archuleta, right?
Yeah,
I think I watched that one.
It was a great fight.
It was on a card with another title fight on it too. I forget which one it was, but I remember.
No. It was the co-main event was Anthony Johnson's comeback.
That's what it was. I watched Anthony Johnson knock that Brazilian dude out. I do remember. Yeah.
So
No,
I like the Pettis brothers. I think they're cool guys. I think that
always fun to watch.
when people say they're not good, I disagree because they are extremely good. They're just inconsistent, is what I would say.
Especially Anthony. Too.
Yeah, Anthony over Sergio, but
he also just peaked so early in his career. It was like, you know what I mean? And once you're fighting top 5 guys every fight in your career, you're going to lose. Like,
when you're a
unless you're
24-year-old,
Khabib,
when you're a 24-year-old, every fight you have is a top 5 guy. Like, it's pretty fucking hard.
you're gonna if you look at his losses, he has like no bad losses. You know what I mean?
He has no bad wins either. He's fought dogs.
Exactly.
And the thing about it,
Sergio is fun to watch too.
They're both fun to watch. I would say Sergio is more consistently good, but his roof isn't as high as Anthony's.
Yeah. He's smaller. You know, he's a little brother.
Anthony's on a great day. Like, it's his day to win. He's beating Benson Henderson this prime. He beat dogs in his prime. You know what I mean? Like, he's beating.
Pettis was fighting everybody. Like, off the top of my head, I only know his losses because he lost to Holloway. You know what I mean? Like, he lost to Ferguson. He's fought
in every fight. Both of them fight, win or lose. It's a great fight to watch. Yeah. It's a great fight to watch. That's a good camp out of Wisconsin. They used to train with Ben Askren as well. Still do, and a little bit of Tyron. It's a great camp out of Milwaukee. Their dad's their coach. With a PFL playoff starting next Wednesday, October 27th. PFL is up and coming, very entertaining. I love the format. My favorite thing about the PFL is it completely takes away the entertainment aspect of MMA, and it goes back to traditional, old school win your fights. If you win your fights, it doesn't matter your Instagram following, it doesn't matter your fans, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it doesn't matter what you look like. If you win every fight and you finish every single fight, you get $1 million regardless of who you are. You get $1 million, which is what I like. Obviously, entertaining aspect makes fights bigger, makes promotion bigger, stuff like that. But for what they're working with, I really like what they're doing. I really do.
Yeah, I like the PFL. It's fun to watch. It's also, I like how it's so much more spread out. You know, because the UFC has a show every weekend.
Yeah.
But the PFL is like they have a season per year, kind of. Yeah. So it is cool. But I will say the PFL. Yeah. Oh, my fault. But yeah, it is going to be good. Is this the playoffs or the championship?
The playoffs.
So this is like the first round?
Yeah. So it's like they fight 2 fights. You fight 2 fights.
Okay.
2
Word.
2-round fights.
No, because their scoring system is interesting to me. How like you get
I like
6
it.
points
I
for
like
a
it a
first round
lot.
knockout.
I like it a
It's-
lot. No. If you get a
it's-
first round, if you get a win, it's 3 points. If you get a first
Right.
round finish, it's +3. Second round finish,
It's
plus
6.
6. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
So,
that.
but the way this, I like it too in theory, but it's weird because the way like sometimes you'll lose to somebody and then you'll get in over them. Like if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you'll have a loss to somebody but have more points than them because you knocked out the other 2 guys that you fought, but you lost to them head to head. So there are some quirks to it, but
Makes
I
finishes
do
more
like the
important,
idea.
though, it makes finishes more important, which is what all the fans want. That's what we want.
That's true. No, it encourages finishes.
Yeah.
It does.
And then last thing, back on the Bellator vibe, Corey Anderson, former UFC veteran. Same with Ryan Bader, former UFC veteran, also former Bellator light heavyweight champion. These 2 men fought in the Bellator light heavyweight Grand Prix semifinals. Corey Anderson knocking out Ryan Bader in 51 seconds. Anderson now to face Nemkov in the light heavyweight Grand Prix finals for $1 million. Is Bellator becoming more legit now, Ethan? We got Anderson, Corey Anderson, we got AJ McKee. Juan Chileta, Sergio Pettis, Cyborg.
I definitely think they are. And, as somebody, I got into MMA a few years ago and started following and graduating more and more. And I feel like most people, I should say, I started with the UFC and then I started watching other regional ones that feed to the UFC or I know of them more. But now Bellator, like when they get Rumble, when you get Rumble Johnson, Yoel Romero, Corey Anderson, it's what's helping them is
Sergio Pettis.
Yeah, they're bringing names in.
Yeah.
So what Bellator has always had fights, and they've always had good fighters. They've always had good shows, but they just didn't have the name brand of the UFC. They didn't have the marketing. They didn't have the machine behind it that the UFC is. And now, so I think getting these fighters that have names. Bader is a former UFC fighter too. He fought John Jones in the UFC. Like they're getting these fighters. So it's not to say it's on the same level as the UFC. I think is still like it's the UFC has so many more fighters, so much deeper.
I think the elite in Bellator are as good as the top guys in UFC.
Some of their so some of like AJ McKee could come.
AJ McKee's a top 5 featherweight
right now. Yes, no, he could come beat. I would love to see him fight Volkanovski and Holloway. Those would be crazy fights.
Yeah,
but to say Corey Anderson and Ryan Bader are better than the UFC light heavyweights Corey
Anderson was a top 5 UFC light heavyweight.
I know, but I know. But so was Bader, right? When he was in there. But it is
Douglas Lima is arguably a top 5
Lima, yeah. Michael Venom Page, regardless of what you think of him, I know you don't like his antics, but he's still good.
The Pitbull brothers, Sergio Pettis, Juan Valletta, Horiguchi.
Well, and at the end of the day,
there's dogs. There are good guys.
It's great for MMA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's awesome to have multiple shows you could watch.
And what can help them the most is Corey Anderson in the post-fight interview said, I've made more money in 2 fights with Bellator than my whole UFC career. The individual sponsorship, man. I was reading somewhere that Federer last tennis season only made $90K on winnings, but he made $300 million in sponsorship money. Yeah. Obviously those guys aren't making that much, but you listen to guys like Brendan Schaub, he got $50,000 per sponsor on his shorts. Guys like John Jones had a Nike Swish, Anderson Silva had Burger King, Muscle Farm, all these things that they don't have no more. Now these fighters can get paid for that. That's the only way I get paid is endorsements when I fight.
Yeah.
And that makes your contract, bro. Say you even get 100K in sponsors, all right, which is probably roughly what Corey Anderson's getting. Guys like that, they're probably getting 100, 200 sponsors. Dude, that turns
he's a main event.
That turns a 150 paycheck into $500,000 sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
Corey Anderson said he's able to get his mom a house now. His wife doesn't have to work anymore.
Well, and that's why the UFC doesn't let them do that anymore, is because they want that money in their pocket.
Exactly.
They're like, we want our sponsors on their shirt. We want crypto.com.
16% of fighter revenue, of UFC revenue goes to fighters. 16%.
And see, the one, I don't really think you could argue fighters aren't underpaid. They definitely are. But the one thing you can say is the UFC does put a lot of their money back into the sport. They are growing the sport.
Yeah, and the other thing that people need to realize too, it's not a sanctioned team sport. It's not
right.
You're in the NFL for 4 years guaranteed. No, you can be in the UFC for 2 fights. You can be in the UFC for 1 fight.
Exactly.
Like,
It's
that
so
shit is
different.
true.
It's so different. And that's why Dana's always like, you don't know anything. You know what I tell you. That's what he means by that, is because it is so different.
Yeah, but I think if you're
It doesn't mean he's right either.
those are the low end guys. If you have a number next to your name, you should be making a livable pay.
Yeah. Well, and that's what, dude, you don't hear Masvidal and Connor and Poirier even now. You don't hear Khabib talk about how much money they make because they're good. Like,
Yeah.
they definitely get taken care of when you're up there. But yeah, if it's your first fight in the UFC, you're
You're making 15K.
lucky to make
That's
20
it.
and 20 or 15 and 15. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely tough. But it is like a rising tide lifts all boats, and that is true. And as the UFC grows, fighters will get paid more.
Yeah, so that's everything we got to talk about for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll get you back up next week, updated, everything going on. Shimmy, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you having me.
Shimmy Neutron.